fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Machine Build Series 01 Rod Drill from Mega House, which I must admit is a company I'm not super familiar with, but I am familiar with Machine Robo. This guy's from Machine Robo, The Revenge of Chronos, which was an anime movie they did years ago back in the 80s. But some American fans may remember this guy as the Renegade Screwhead from the GoBots cartoon here in the 80s, because GoBots was just, Tonka adapting the Machine Robo toys here in America. And these are kind of interesting. So the Machine Build series, they're kind of model kits, but they're not as extensive as you might think. And I'll show that off as we get into this. But it comes mostly assembled, and there's just kind of a few pieces that come on sprues for you to kind of add to the body. So it really only took me about 10 minutes to put it together, which is actually pretty cool. But here is the packaging here. We have Rod Drill here on the front, and I think it's funny that they romanized it like they're sounding out the katakana. We have Rod Drill. Up here on the top, we have the robot mode and the vehicle mode. It absolutely can transform. And then over here, we have some option parts. You can see it comes with a really long drill bit, couple of extra heads, couple of extra hands. So you have a couple options there. Just some warnings and whatnot here on the side. Again, down the bottom, just very similar to the top. And then on the back, we just have a big picture of the vehicle mode. So this is pretty cool. I'm actually really excited to check this out. I got this from HLJ for like $28, something like that. So yeah, let's go ahead, get everything out of the packaging here, and let's take a look. So here is Rod Drill out of the packaging. I think he looks pretty good, and honestly there was not a lot of assembly that was actually needed. So these little blue pieces here are just kind of separate pieces of plastic that just peg in, and they came on a sprue with these. The pieces here for the two halves of the forearm, you just had to pop them off a screw and then peg them together around the arm. Same with these red pieces for the shoulders. And I believe the shoulders you had to clip on as well. They clipped onto the arms that were already in here. This little abdomen piece, this silver piece right there, clipped on. And then you just had to pop a head on. And that was really it. So 85–90% of this thing came fully assembled in the packaging, which is actually pretty cool. And he looks really good. I like him a lot. I think the colors look good. There's no stickers or anything like that. Everything is just different colored plastic or comes already painted, so I really appreciate that. The one thing I will say, you have these giant tread pieces here, and they give you this little piece of plastic here to kind of hide the giant empty cavity that is the legs because of how he transforms. So I do appreciate that. I wish there was a way that these pieces here, you can kind of see like the natural separation of this. I kind of wish this was on a hinge and this could have rotated back to cover the back of the leg, just because it's a lot of bulk here on the side of the leg, and it would have been nice if they could have folded to the back just to give him a little bit more condensed leg, and also to fill in that space. Kind of would have killed two birds with one stone, but it's not that big a deal. But honestly, I think he looks pretty cool. I like the head sculpt. It's basic, but I like it quite a bit. Nicely painted there. Now he does come with a few other head options, so I'll show those off to you. I believe these are more accurate to the original anime. You can see you have kind of a wider visor there with a faceplate, and then you have a wider visor but with no faceplate with an actual nose and mouth. So you have a lot of options. It's very simple. You can see that you just pop one off, pop the other one on, it just pegs in, and each head has kind of a little hinge there for articulation. So that's kind of cool. We also have, this isn't technically a head, but we have the giant drill piece, which I'll show off when we get to the vehicle mode. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I mean, he's got a lot of nice paint applications. I think all of this silver here is painted, which looks really sharp. Otherwise, like I said, a lot of the different colors are done with different colored plastic. So the head has a hinge, like I mentioned, and because it just pegs in here, you can just turn it side to side, no problem there. The arms can spin all the way around. When you go to lift these out, the shoulder pads are kind of on like a weird hinge piece. So if you can see, this piece right here is what we kind of clipped onto the rod. So the arms come with like a rod and then just this. And then you have to put this piece together, push the clip down onto that, and then just kind of bring this down like so. This little piece right here, the silver, also clips over. And then you have two pieces for the forearm that's sandwiched together there. But you can lift this up to get the arm out to the side. And honestly, they'll just kind of naturally lift up as you move the arm. You do have a bicep swivel. You have a little bit over 90 degrees there in the elbow. And then you have kind of a ball joint here in the hands. Now, he comes with this closed fist set of hands, but could obviously hold an item, even though he doesn't really come with an item, but he definitely could hold something. You also get kind of an open set of hands. So if you like that look a little bit better, you can use those. Or if you like a really traditional, like old toy school look, he's got these kind of like super basic fists. So this is kind of like the original toy back in the 80s look. So if you want something like that, you can go ahead and use those, which I actually think is pretty cool. I just gave him these hands just because I feel like it's kind of the normal hands I would expect on a robot action figure, but I'm kind of partial to the open ones as well. I appreciate the old school toy hands. I don't personally want them, but I think it's kind of cool that they were included. So we also have a waist swivel here, as you can see. You have these little panels here on the skirt that can lift up so that you can kick really far forward, really far back. You can kick pretty far out to the side, but you can see how it kind of starts to hit into that waist piece there. You do have a thigh swivel as well. I would say a little over 90 degrees there in the knee. And then unfortunately, because of the way this thing is, you get a lot of range of motion here in the ankle. You do have to kind of flip this back here for the transformation, but it also causes him to kind of naturally want to just fall backwards because of the way that articulates. So it's kind of, I think this piece here is just pegged into the leg, and then there's a ball joint here in the foot, and that kind of moves around like that. So you get a nice range of motion. You can get ankle tilts out of it. You can certainly get front to back, but unfortunately it just kind of naturally falls backwards. So you just kind of have to balance him right to make sure that that doesn't happen. But you can definitely do that. You can get a really nice couple poses out of him, but just something to be aware of. I think that's another thing that would have been great if this could have folded back, because then that thing would be about here, and that would kind of stop this naturally from falling backwards, because it would probably only be able to go to about there. So I think that could have solved two problems. Actually three, I guess, technically. It would have made the side of the leg look better, would have made the back of the leg look better, and it would have acted to keep those heels in place. So I kind of wish that's how that worked, but again, I still think he's pretty cool. And you have a lot of options for customizability, if I'm making up words, with the hands and the head. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, really nice articulation. I really appreciate the fact that I didn't have to do too much in the way of building. And definitely no stickers. So I definitely love that. Also, he can transform. So let's go ahead and check that out. So the transformation is very basic. We're going to start by just taking those feet. We'll take this little panel right here and we'll just flip that around to the side and push that down as far as we can. This is going to just fold in like that. So the panel here is on like a double hinge, so you want to just make sure you can use that to push it down as far as possible, and then just push that in, and then you can go ahead and sandwich the two legs together, which can be a little tricky because they kind of only sandwich on these panels down here, and they don't lay as flat as I'd like, so it's kind of hard to push them together because you can't really get a great grip on them. But we're going to take the arms and just kind of straighten them out like so, and then there's actually a hinge here, like a butterfly joint, that I guess technically you could utilize in the robot mode if you wanted to, but it is mostly for transformation. So we're just going to kind of bring these straight in like this, and then there's two joints here, as you can see, kind of the normal knee joint and then like a secondary knee joint, and we're going to use that to bring this around and drop this down like this. And there we go. That's pretty much it. It's a very standard GoBot, machine robo transformation. There's not a ton to it, but I think it works and it looks good. And it definitely looks like the original toy. And I'm sure I don't have this 100% poly. You can probably get this a little bit more in space there, but there we go. So like I said earlier, you can go ahead and remove the robot head if you like, and bring in that giant drill piece, and that just pegs right in where the head would go. And then you have the ridiculously gigantic drill. And you have some nice paint and everything here, which looks really nice. Yeah, I'm sure I don't have this 100% correctly transformed. That's a little better. Just about kind of finding the right angle there. But he's got the treads. He's even got treads up here. So I guess if he wanted to kind of, you know, move around on both sides. But he doesn't really have wheels or anything. It would be nice if they kind of had like little wheels here on the shoulders just to help him. But I guess they don't really have wheels on this piece either. So I guess it would be a moot point. But he's just a cool little drill tank. I like him quite a bit. I think that's pretty cool. I wanted to do some size comparisons real quick before we finish up, just because I know a lot of people will probably be asking how tall these are. Here is a kind of standard Hasbro Deluxe class Transformer, and then here is a Core class, Legends class, whatever you like to call this size class here, also from Hasbro, just to give you. So it's kind of somewhere in between. I mean, technically, with the tip of the drill head, he might be about the exact same size, but otherwise I would say he's a little shorter than him, but definitely taller than like a core class. Let me see, do I have... Here is a 4-inch Fortnite figure also. So, just to give you a little bit of scale for how big he is. So that's going to do it for Rod Drill. I think he's pretty cool. I mean, he is around $30, which is kind of a little bit more than your standard kind of Hasbro Deluxe Transformer, which he is kind of a little shorter than, but he does come with some extra accessories that they don't necessarily have, like the head and hand options and things like that. It is a pretty basic transformation, but that is very, very specific to this character. So I feel like if you're recreating this character, you kind of have to have that basic transformation. But he looks good. I really do like him a lot. He's not perfect. Like I said, I really do wish these pieces were able to flip around to the back. I think that would make the leg profile look better. I think it would cover up the empty space better, and it would also stop the heels from being able to rescind all the way in robot mode. So I feel like that one little change could have solved like my 3 major issues with this guy. But like I said, I was very excited to learn that I didn't have to 100% completely build him from scratch, and there were no stickers whatsoever. It's all either paint or different colored plastic, which I really like. So if you're a fan of Machine Robo or even like the old GoBots from the 80s, I think this line is definitely one to check out. There are 2 more entries in this line so far. Bike Robo came out recently, which I have, and we'll probably take a look at. And then there is the Jet Robo, also from Revenge of Chronos. So I don't know if they're going to be continuing this line outside of that one animated movie, because obviously we know Machine Robo has been around for a while, and there's a lot of different characters they could do. So I don't know if maybe they'll start with Revenge of Chronos, because that was kind of first, and then move on after that. Only time will tell. But yeah, this guy's a lot of fun, and like I said, if you're a fan of old Machine Robo like me, this is definitely one to check out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.